Steve from Custom Table Tennis, and we're just going to bring you a new development, or what we've decided to help people out on the Pimple bats, because it's very, very confusing. People have tried, well, I personally have tried over 100 long Pimples in my career, and probably more. So the first thing that we'll do then, before we get to the Pimples, is the blade is the heart of the bat, and it's going to determine how fast your Pimples are going to play. So if you look at this list, and you can pause on there, we've used it many times. Don't compare it to other brands. If you want the maximum amount of control for your Pimples, it will be the black all round, because it's got the highest degree of control and it's going to be the slowest. On the other hand, if you take a look at that, I mean, the thing is, when you're playing with a Pimple, it depends on your style of play, what you're trying to do with it, whether you're going to be more attacking. But anyway, the choice is there. We're open to discussion if you want to give us a ring to discuss what would be the best for you. So I'm not going to spend too long on the blades. So we've got our 4 wood ones there, and then we're down onto these premium blades from here onwards. So we've got the 5 premium. Tells you clearly what they are. Probably would be the most effective for the Pimple will probably be the premium Hinoki carbon. But it's quite quick, so the Pimples are going to work quite. They're going to come off the bat fast, so you're not going to give your opponent much response time. So if I get the blades out the way then, and then we'll have a look. What I'll do now is we'll have a look at the bats. So these are just 3 that I've made up. The first one being, and we're using the GS Special because it's just easier for you, and if you want to take the rubber off, it's just easy. When we send you the bat, we'll also send you the waxy paper. I'm going to come to that right at the end. So if you find that the Pimples are not for you, you can just peel it and stick it onto the waxy bit here, and then you don't feel like, then you can just put some of the rubber on the other side. So that's that a little bit about the Pimple. What I'll do is I'll talk about the black first. This has been enormously popular since we brought this into the UK, and you can see the tensor. I'll just get one out of the packet for you because the tensor effect is quite remarkable on it. I should say tension effect, because it's not made in Germany, so it's not. But there you go. You've got a nice loads of tension on there. It's also got the glue. So we're going to offer these bats with this because I've tried it and I know it plays pretty well for this type of rubber without paying £40–50 for a rubber. So all the bats will come with the world #1, the tension. As regarding the rubbers, the first one, look at that last one that I pick up, the Lion Claw. This is going to be a budget option. I use this for I've used it for over 10 years at some point or another. The thing to note about the Pimples and why the ones that I've tried, they seem to work better when they're horizontal. So in other words, when the Pimples are going that way, they just seem to work better that way. So that's the Lion Claw. This is going to be the sort of introductory one if you want. If you just want to dip your toes. The reason why we're going with these 3 Pimples, well, people think, well, why are you going with these 3 Pimples? Because it's our #1, 2 and 3 best sellers in the UK, and also the majority of the players that I know play with one of these rubbers. I'm using at the moment Hellfire, but I'm going to go try something. So that's the bats. So basically you can have any handle shape that we've got on any blade that we've got. What's going to remain the same is the world #1, and on the Monkey you can choose the different colours. So on the Monkey we've also got the red version as well. Of course, if you have black on one side, you've got to have the colour on the other. You can't have 2 colours. And then on the Hellfire we've got 3 choices there. So we've got purple, green. We've got the purple, which I've been using. We've got the purple and the green and the red on this one. This is our #1 bestseller. Thing to think about Pimples. People say, oh, it doesn't do this and it doesn't do that. there's a certain amount of skill to use pimples, and these are the most effective. Designed by who was in fact in the top 100 in the world, and the best player with pimples in Germany. Well, he used to beat top 100 players with his rubber, Sebastian Sauer. So it's developed by somebody with the skills to know what works and what doesn't. So finally then I'm going to try, so I hope that explains everything. So the GS, we've done a separate video about this. We offer this on any pimpled rubber, but in my opinion you try all the different rubbers that you like, but this seems to work off the table, up the table. If you can hit and you roll, you can do most anything with these pimples, and in my opinion, they're most effective. And it's basically 1, 2, 3 in our sales. And for 2023, Monkey wasn't out at the time, but that is running away with things at the moment. But the Hellfire was #1 anyway last year. And then the GS special version, I'll explain more about that. So you can either buy the standard version and use the glue sheet yourself. We either use this Nitaku one or our own one from Germany, and really easy to use. Once the finicky part is actually this bit here. So what you get if you buy this service off, you buy your own, you do it yourself, we don't have a problem with that. But when we supply it in the GS special, it means that I've spent the time to put this glue sheet on there, and it will be put on there to perfection. There'll be no air bubbles up. So all you do, and I'm trying this at the weekend, so happy days. I'll just quickly, to wrap up, and I'm going to also try the world #1 on my wood nut. I mean, we're going to have this on, probably when I've tested this, I probably might put this on for sale as well. But I mean, my blades are good, but for pimple play, this is probably about as good as it gets. I've got 4 of these, and I've got a slightly faster side there with the darker wood, and then a slightly slower side on this side for the pimples. But enough of the talk. What I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how simple it is. So you get that in your packet. All you do, just don't have to fiddle around with it. Just make sure that it doesn't touch each other. Get it lined up exactly where you want to be, which is about there. That's not quite. I don't know about you, but I'm quite a perfectionist. I like there you go. I know that's absolutely perfect. So looking down the shoulders, looking down here, it's nice and straight. Then you get your roller, and then just carefully, you can't stretch it because it's got the glue sheet on. And look at that, absolute perfection every time. You can do it yourself, or we can do it for you. Look at that. Now, as I said before, I mean, and then I cut that around with nail scissors. I'm not going to do that. I've got that in another video about this absolute perfection every single time. And as I said before, I see pimple players and they've got air pockets and bubbles and glue and they're hanging off. And then the beauty of that is, if you can't get on with it, you've not wasted a bunch of money. You can just, whether you wax a sheet of paper, I mean, that'll be cut, and you can just peel it off and then put it on there. But it's not going to fall off at all. I mean, I have to tug that quite hard to get it off. But then the other thing is, we always seal the blades. So anything you can get from us, the blade is going to be sealed. So that's a new service we've brought, and one of the reasons, I think a lot of players are getting older and they're looking for other tactics to employ, because we're not as mobile, where everybody's getting older. And actually the players who've changed, they're absolutely having a ball with it. They're really having good fun with it. Don't have a problem with players using pimples. So I thought we'd bring you this one. It's a brand new range of it's a brand new service that we offer, and it's also a brand new range of bats. So Steve from Custom Table Tennis, hit the like and subscribe and get your stuff from customtabletennis.co.uk.